Welcome to the 208. Brian Holmes has the day off. And to start the 208 for you, no surprise, we are tracking what could be the final days of the 2023 Idaho Legislative session. We'll take a live look right now at this hour. This is a live look as lawmakers are running through a major list of budgets and bills. The golden question at this point is, when will lawmakers officially adjourn for the year? Well, they can't do that until budgets are passed, but they are making solid progress on that front. I will say, too, any of the insiders for the legislature, we're keeping a close eye on if Idaho will get a state dinosaur. That is expected to happen in the next half hour or so, so don't worry, we will get to that. But meanwhile, back to the main business. While lawmakers are pushing through the appropriations, there are a few other items still out there for consideration, and that includes Idaho's abortion laws, specifically the criminal abortion laws. And medical experts around the state of Idaho have expressed concerns about how the law is written. They say it could be a little too general when it comes to a situation where a doctor is wondering if they should legally do an abortion or not. So that feedback was taken in stride from lawmakers, and they are working with stakeholders to make sure that the law is written in a way that works for medical stakeholders and lawmakers. And there's been a lot of attention on abortion in Idaho over the last few years, court decisions, legality questions, the full nine. But this effort to examine the law is welcome news for many stakeholders. So what are lawmakers looking at in the final days of the session? Let's take a look. As lawmakers are heading into the end of the Idaho legislative session, they still have a major topic to tackle: Idaho's abortion laws. Recent court decisions have given Idaho lawmakers insight to how they can best word the law, a law that some in the medical community say was vague. House Majority Leader Representative Megan Blanksma planned to see a pitch on the topic advance this week.
Multiple parties had worked on it, but in the end, it wasn't enough to satisfy everyone. So we're going back to the drawing board. I believe we have some new language that we're working out, and we're going to try to put something together to get it out by the end of session.
Although the exact bill is still being worked out, Blanksma and multiple stakeholders have drafted ideas for a clear and concise law. One change discussed by lawmakers and stakeholders is a priority for pending abortion legislation.
I think the general goal, the one thing that all parties seem to be agreeing on, is getting rid of the affirmative defense. That seems to be something that everybody agrees on, and then the details around that is where it gets sticky. So I think we're just waiting to see what we can get everybody to come to the table on, and I would think that you would see something here shortly.
As it stands now, Idaho's code outlaws abortion in all cases, with the exceptions of rape or incest that are reported to law enforcement or when the pregnancy threatens the life of a mother. The current law includes an exemption, an affirmative defense, that must be proven in court by a preponderance of evidence, more likely than not. For abortions performed when a doctor, in good faith medical judgment and based on the facts known to the physician at the time, has determined that the abortion was necessary to prevent the death of a pregnant woman. As some believe that affirmative defense bar was too high, Blanksma says insight from the judicial system through court cases has been valuable.
I would argue it's not a cleanup bill. I mean, we obviously had a very good decision from the Idaho Supreme Court. I think this is just essentially codifying what we already know based upon that decision and just making it just a little bit clearer.
As lawmakers were set to hear a bill in committee created by legislators and stakeholders on the topic, the Idaho Republican Party sent an email blast claiming that the proposal was from a closed-door, backroom deal to give doctors leeway to perform abortions. That email created questions about if the abortion law will see context added.
I am not concerned about that email from the chairman because we are working on solving a problem, and that's what we're doing. That bill might not be the answer. We didn't know that it wasn't the answer until very late at night. And so we kind of shelved it. We're working on a new solution because I think in the end, the Republicans of the Idaho House are focused on finding solutions to problems, and that's what we do.
To put it simply, lawmaking is not always a linear journey.
Nothing is static here. Everything's always moving, and so we're trying to do the best with the tools that we have, and in that process, sometimes stuff comes out that people don't necessarily like, but there's always the opportunity to go back.
So with time winding down, what does the timeline look like for abortion legislation?
I think quickly. They're still working on it. I still don't have an RS to introduce, but I would look to maybe tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. I don't have a firm commitment on when we're going to do that yet.
All right, so lawmakers are working hard at this hour, but what does that mean for their goal of being done by the end of this week? Well, I asked the Majority Leader, who we just heard from, for her thoughts, and yes, she tells me there's a concerted effort to get things wrapped up.
Yeah, we want to be responsible with taxpayer dollars. We really do. And the longer we're here, the more money it costs. And our target end date was actually this Friday, and I think we'll meet it as far as our job responsibilities. Unfortunately, we're going to wait on the Senate a little bit. They move at a different pace, and they have a different system.
So the caveat here for you at home is that plans change, and there can always be a bill or debate that hangs things up longer than expected. We've seen this in years past, and we saw that this morning in the Idaho Senate. But anyways, we will follow this until the end, but looks like things are winding down. We'll keep a close eye on that one.